Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys. Thank you for being here. Behind me is the 2015 WRX that you saw in pieces last time. In this video, we're gonna put it all back together, put the engine back in the car, and get it running. Let's get started.
So here is the new engine block. In that box sits the base for the entirety of all those parts.
That's some fresh ass meat. Fresh ass meat, juicy meats.
New engine block. It came in. UPS delivered the fuck out of it, and now we're gonna put it back together from the ground up. So what we got are the two block halves, rotating assembly, so like crankshaft, pistons, all the bearings, everything's torqued down, connecting rods, wrist pins, all that's already done, came pre-assembled. All we have to do is assemble the rest of it. The what? Is that an engine? No, it's a swimming pool. Holy fuck, past Skuru. Okay, thank you. We have 3 bolts for the top of the bell housing. Where do the knock sensors go? I'm assuming right here, right? No, that's not the one. Right there. And they go in at a 45-degree angle, right? Those are some things that I'm pointing at. So these are knock sensors. What they do is they tell the computer if something's gone catastrophically wrong inside the engine. That's pretty much all they do. Fucking 500 bucks for the gasket baggie. Couldn't believe that. Well, like I could, but I didn't want to. Okay, so it didn't come with those. Thank you, Subaru. 500 bucks and you didn't even give me every gasket. What a fucking joke, man. We are reusing these, even though they're a little crusty. I don't love it. Okay, I need to grab this sensor off the old block. I think I need a 10. Maybe it's just gasket material that's holding this in. Oh, we got some movement. Too bad I snapped the pry point off. I look like your cousin Jake. Bet you Jake's a baller. Damn, it doesn't look... Okay, so like one side's separating all right. The other side is not even thinking about it. Haha! Get out of there, you fucking shitter. Okay, we got it. So this is what it looks like. I broke the little pry tab, same as this side, off of this side, but these dowel pins were just in there. There's no gasket maker or anything. It's just fucking stuffed in there. Now I just gotta put it back in. Yeah, putting it back in shouldn't be as bad because I can just, you know, tap on it. It was trying to pry it out. There. And now it's installed in the new engine. Just slid right in. Nice and easy. I even look at this. I printed out instructions. That's what our gasket material needs to look like on this surface. Should be clean, but I'm gonna brake clean it before I apply the gasket sealer. All I'm doing is putting the O-rings in their receptacles. That's their home. That's where they live. So things we need to be aware of, not bumping these gaskets. Our dowel pins here that align the upper oil pan. Let's clean this up. Where's my straw? There it is. So right now I'm using brake clean and going around the mating surface that we have to apply the gasket sealer to, just to make sure it's completely free of oil and debris. So when we mate the engine, it seals good. This can's almost empty. So this baffle, like before I changed it out, obviously, was completely dented because when the rod snapped, it swung around and punctured this. One of the bolts actually has a little bit of a mark on it where the connecting rod smoked it. That bolt right there, it's kind of like deformed. We got fucking whacked. Big whack. So I already changed out this baffle and now we just gotta do the windage tray. Realistically, I should take a compressor and blow this. All right, 3, 2, 1, loud. So I'm just looking at our diagram here. This black line is where we need to apply the sealer. So around this screw hole and then all around the outside. And then we gotta try and align it with the dowel pins and fuck it in without screwing up the sealant. All right, so 5 millimeters plus or minus 1 millimeter the whole way around. You know what? I'm kind of okay with the beat I put. Is it a little sloppy because I'm not a fucking Fujitech robot? Yes. Did we make it all the way around the outside? Also, yes. Let's put this on the engine. Dowel pin's going right there. Rubber mallet would be awesome, but I don't have one. Okay, see you later, bolt. Torque wrench may be small, but it's all in how you twist it. Size matters. This is number 2. It has to come back out. Oh, it does, because these are the engine mounts. Oh! Okay, well, let's fucking hope that I gooped this enough that it never has to come out again. Holy shit. All right, let's pray it doesn't leak. Oh, boy. That's what's next. It's time for some heads. Why is everything in an engine so fucking heavy? Ugh. Okay. So I need to disassemble everything in this head to put it on the engine. It's silly. It's very silly. So like I said, I need to ensure these all go exactly where they were, into the combustion chamber. And it's also gonna regulate the exhaust. So everything that comes out of the combustion chamber after. So I don't know if you guys can quite see here, but what I've done is I've pulled out the camshaft assembly. So right here we have the exhaust and the intake camshafts, the cam caps, the bolts that hold those down, and we have the, well, I guess, what are they, rockers or rollers? But they pivot on these little hydraulically controlled pivot points to open the valves when the camshaft comes down and flaps it. So that full camshaft assembly that I have sitting on the table here sits inside of the cam carrier, which I'm pulling off the head now. Gotta pull all this off the head to put the head back on the engine. So this is like it's a little oil screen that sits in one of the galleys, and what it does is filter the oil going up to the camshafts. But I would much rather it get dirty oil than no oil. And while I'm here, I'm gonna double check that the head is clean. Nice. Okay, we're just coming up with the action plan here. I'm gonna obviously degrease and clean this first. Gasket. Always lube up before entering the holes. And that concludes the passenger side head. It is on and torqued. The initial torque we did to 72 foot-pounds, that was to stretch the bolts, but I mean, these bolts, I'm reusing them, so they're technically already stretched. We could have skipped that, but we're not gonna skip any steps. We're gonna go back over and do the cam carriers. So this is our sealing surface right here. Cam carrier is torqued. Next step, loosen the bolts by 180 degrees. All right, cam carrier's in. So what I'm doing here is putting assembly lube on. And what assembly lube does, when your engine first turns over, like after you rebuild, the oil's not going to be in the pump, it's not going to be anywhere. Like, you're not going to have any oil in the system. And the assembly lube just keeps everything lubricated until you build oil pressure. Assembly lube is very important. So on the table over here, I have everything indexed very specifically. On top of the valves sit these little caps, and they act as spacers. Now, everything was calipered and measured from the factory, so I need to make sure that I put everything exactly back how it was. Ooh, see, I almost fucked up there. Gotta put the cam caps on. I'm like, why are these so loose? To be the intake cam. Do its little home right there, just to double check. Intake arrow points to the front, so that goes in like that. The center caps have like stamps on them. This one has a letter I and an arrow. The letter I signifies that this is for the intake camshaft, and the arrow points to the front of the engine. How this gasket's supposed to go. So this sits like that. Exhaust and the arrow pointing to the front. Just like that. There it is. And they still rotate freely. We like when they rotate. We'll put the pipe on then. Do I have valve covers in here as well? Let's do a 10-second tidy reset and then do it all again on the other side. Okay. And just like before, we have to be extremely meticulous in the pieces we take off and the order that they sit in. Line up the dowel pins right there. Bolt number 1. $180, $360. Tighten all bolts to 20 Newton meters. So we do this step because when you have stock bolts that haven't been used yet, they have to stretch to their final form, to their final spec. And what we just did there was technically stretch the bolts. But because we've already used these head bolts, that step is completely redundant, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. 6, okay. Next step, tighten them all 100 degrees. All right. Tighten the center 2 bolts a further 100 degrees. 90, 100, 90, 100. And tighten the rest by 50. So right now I'm just using brake clean to degrease the surface that I have to apply the gasket maker to. I'm gonna pop in the 2 O-rings while I'm standing here thinking about it. And then we're gonna go back to the table. Dowel, there we go. Loosen 3 bolts by 180. Tighten the bolts again. Loosen bolts by 180. 1, 2, 3. Tighten the bolts, 18 Newton meters. All right, next up, reassemble everything. And right now I'm putting on his engine assembly lube. Shaft. If you tell them it's thermal paste to stop the engine overheating. Well, I mean, like, technically, in the same vein that you can't run a processor without thermal paste, you can't run an engine without oil. All right, cam caps. Letter I, intake, that is the intake, and the arrow is pointing to the front. Cap goes on like that. E, exhaust, arrow pointing to the front. Now, we gotta put sealant on the other ones. Okay, second one. Okay, now we just need the front cap. It's sitting exactly like this. Let me grab the valve cover. Not anticipating this being so gunky. Perfect. Short block is assembled. Okay, let's do an oil pan. Mental note, if you're buying a full engine gasket kit, fucking just don't. Like, it doesn't even have a pickup tube O-ring. Seriously. Okay, we're reusing the O-ring. I'm putting the engine dick on. Engine dick. Seems like too much. Never underestimate an oil pan. You know what? Considering how much isn't gooping out the sides, I'm comfortable with this. Now we get to play where does the hose go. God, I hate where does the hose go. Go on there, does it? Ooh, it does. That's where the hose goes. Not a clue where the other end goes. Oh, the other end goes right there. Look at that. And that's where the hose goes. Yeah, so the STI series of Subaru engine has a belt, like a dry belt. This has a wet chain. Two wet chains. And they're fucking stupid. There we go. Let's do another hose. Goes right here. This is called under fuel pump. Let's put this in. So inside the fuel pump, I guess I can explain this. Underneath this is the camshaft, right? We saw the camshaft, the spinny boy. On the camshaft is a triangular shaped lobe. And the fuel pump has a roller that sits on the lobe. And as the lobe spins, the roller will go up with it and then down with it and then up with it and then down. And then it pushes on a diaphragm in the fuel pump to pump the fuel. And this is just, I guess, like a mounting bracket for it. So this is the little roller that rides along the cam. Pop her in. And that's what's going to actuate the fuel pump and pump the fuel. So that little thing that I just explained going up and down pushes on this spring, which is very difficult, and that's what pumps the fuel. Okay, it looks good. I'm going to stuff some assembly lube in there and then we'll bolt her down. That's where the fuel pump goes. I'd say that's nice and tight like a tiger. Okay, fuel pump is on. Let's do the fuel rail. I think it's a 17. I believe this is the top end oil pump. I'm gonna put some gasket maker on this guy too. What do we got next for hoses? How about driver's side valve cover water pump hose? Ah, that is how the hose goes. The thermostat and then the girth hose. A little girthy. I wish I was that girthy. Bottom radiator hose, whoops, is on. What do we got next? Water crossover, really? Gah. Water crossover tube. So what this does is it takes coolant from the water pump and it pumps it to both sides of the head. Did make her a little more complicated here on the FA though. Well, I guess exhaust manifold's up next. I just blew out the fucking spark plug plastic bags. I don't remember this part of the Transformers movie. Yeah, this is where they fucked. Look at this diagram and tell me that's not fucked. It's like, oh, the mark needs to be 25 degrees off of this bullshit. Somehow I gotta rotate that? Like, what? Haha! And the crank pulley needs to be in line with this. Let's double check this together. We have black chain mark on the back sprocket. We have it under the tensioner guide, which I haven't put the tensioner in yet. We have red lined up with the timing mark. Then we have red lined up with the timing mark. And then back. Ooh, okay, let's put the tensioner in. Back to bottom, top dead center and see if they line up. I just shot the plastic bag I had in the spark plug hole again. Yes, we're in time. Oh, thank God. Okay, this side needs to be aligned. Okay, I know where this has to go. Lined up, boom, boom. Let's do it. Black on the crank sprocket. Who does engine teardowns every week? One extra click. Okay, let's rotate through. Yes, 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 we're in time. Timing is done. The timing is done. Thank God. Okay, we even got the extra click out of the tension. How's the tension feel? Tension between the cams isn't great, actually. Maybe I need another click. Okay, one more click. That feels better. Yeah, I just need another click. Dare I say the engine is in time. Timing chain assembly. What's next on the list? Chain cover. Look at all these fucking bolts on the chain cover. Timing chain cover. Okay, let's pop this out. Twist it for fucking ever. Let's go, please. Thank you. Timing chain cover. Front main seal, O-ring. I'm gonna put the O-ring in the block right now. I gotta pound in a front main seal before I do anything else. The old front main was leaking. I made sure to clean up the front and get all the gunk off. That was not the hardest seal I've ever tapped in. Thank you, Subaru, for doing one thing right. Yeah, this old front main was just fucking gnarled. It was a bit gnarly. Okay, the moment of truth. We're gonna make a cock joke, but you'd rather not. Fucking furries, man. Don't touch anything. Oh my God, I'm in. Holy fuck, dude. That was like landing a spaceship and I nailed it. I thought I was gonna be banging it all over the place. Almost done. Crank pulley. Finish the front. I want to put the dipstick on too. Dude, when I rebuilt my EJ earlier this year, I didn't put the dipstick on. And, oh fuck, I had to fish it through. Oh, it's just a mess. It took me like 40 minutes to fish it through, and it was just stupid. This one even has shoulders, so you know when you've seated it far enough. That's kind of handy. Okay, so you remember how when I did the EJ, I dropped the 14 mil socket down the exhaust port? We don't want to do that. That would be big sad Skuru. Gaskets. Okay. Water pump pulley is on. Harmonic balancer is on. It's bolt on. Right there, right? Right there. Oil cooler. That goes right there. Just like that. All right, let's do some hose clamps. Coming in hot, the exhaust. That is the exhaust assembly. So exhaust, manifold, turbo inlet, catalytic converter, which is the first stage of the exhaust, and then the turbo inlet. This also had to go on after the oil pan. Let's put some nuts on. These exhaust studs and nuts are in surprisingly good condition. I did have to cut a bolt off of the exhaust manifold to turbo when I took it apart. Got to replace though. I did replace it. 2 bolts, front turbo mount. But I have 3 bolts. Front turbo mount. What did I mean by that? Oh, I see what I mean. That's the turbo mount. It goes in between. Perfect. All right, let's tighten down these exhaust manifold bolts. Okay. Okay. Now I gotta connect all these little hoses and shit. Ooh, that one's not connected. Am I building an engine for a car or a tank? You should actually see the armoring under this car. Because on the older model of Subaru, the turbo was actually like way up out of the way. Like it would never get hit by road debris. Under this, like the turbo sits like you hit a big rock, you're hitting the turbo. So they like realize this and they put all this fucking like armoring under the car. It's insane. This is the oil return line from the Turbski. Be a fuck fest. Turbo coolant, turbo return, oil. Turbo oil feed. No idea what that is, but I did connect. Ah, I see, I missed one right here. There's coolant in. Turbo coolant in. And then I've left myself nothing but the top side. Water mounts. Okay, this is driver. Oh, I should have done this before the exhaust. I made a mistake. Put that flywheel position sensor. Okay, fuel rail crossover thing. This way. That's where it goes. Let's think about this. Got to put the wiring harness on. Got to put the tumbler generators in, the intake. Then we got to connect the intake. Then we got to do the turbo up pipe to intake. Once the intake's completely on and the entire intake assembly, we gotta lift the engine up, take it off the engine stand, put the flywheel on, put the pressure plate on, and clutch. And once the pressure plate and clutch is on, it's ready to go back in the car. Hey, Biggie. Oh, there's the dog. Rocket. You can't come over here. There's electronics and gross stuff. Gross stuff. Hi. What are you doing? Yeah, I tightened this fuel system down pretty hard. There we go. Okay, that's seated. This gotta sit somewhere. It says left fuel. I gotta label things better. Okay, mental note, label it better. I told you the intake was gonna be a mess. Okay, let's just put the wiring harness on. Wiring harness. Holy shit, this thing's nasty. This nasty? This is the way it goes. Okay, we'll start from the center and work out, I think. And a lot of times if you get it in the right spot, things will just line up to what they're supposed to be plugged into. Cock reveal? Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, I'm gonna do plugs and coils real quick. just so everything's buttoned up. I'll let you in on a secret. It's gonna be a hell of a lot easier to put the spark plugs in now than it is when they're in the car. All I know is doing spark plugs when, like on a Subaru engine, when it's in the chassis is fucked difficult. Slowly but surely, the car is taking shape. The engine. The engine is slowly taking shape. This goes around like this. There, that's correct. What do I got in the zap strap bin? I believe this is an intake. This goes under here to the crank position sensor. Probably should have plugged her in before I screwed it down, but you know, we're here now. Water crossover. This goes here somehow. Haha, remember that weird bracket? The weird bracket goes right here. Would you look at that? If I was in my car with Fred Flintstone and Scooby-Doo underwater smoking a joint, it would be the Scuba Skaruba Doobie Yabba Dabba Doobie Doo. Oh shoot, I was probably supposed to put in those foamy things. Okay, that's how it sits. Holy shit, what a fight. We're running on hopes and dreams right now. Now, that fight that I just did on that side, I gotta do on the other side now. Fuck. This is where it's a fucking jigsaw puzzle. Exhaust side, easy. Intake side, fucked. Where does this go? What is this? Oh, does this go on the... No. Oh, that goes there. Oh, that absolutely goes there. Okay. I still have no idea what this mounts to. It does mount right there. Hey. What? What? I can't pet you, my hands are all greasy. They're all greasy. You wanna go inside? Is that what you want? I think he wants to go inside. What's the pump thing look like? This thing. I labeled it as pump. I think it's a vacuum pump? It certainly goes somewhere and does something. I missed the intake on the EJ. It's so much easier. These bolt on with the intake, right? Yeah, it looks like they do. I don't even know what these thingies are. They're just like an actuator valves of some sort. I think we're ready for the intake itself. Like, we got whatever the fuck this thing is. Alright, intake's on. This is a breather, I'm pretty sure, isn't it? This goes like this. Yes, okay, I found it. Never mind. I figured it out. Not sure what it's doing down there, but it's where it's going. This thing is so stupid. Yeah, it goes around the radiator hose, which isn't there currently. I think it's in. Okay, let's put this bracket on now. I think this is my lift point anyway. Yeah, the lighting's gonna be all fucked because it's daytime now. When we started, it wasn't daytime. putting the tensioner on. But that's where that pump thing sits. I don't know what the pump thing plugs into hose-wise, though. Yikes. So we'll figure that out. Intake back, passenger side. Oh, that's where it goes. Right there. Alternator. Oh, why you gotta be so heavy? This bitch. Dude, this alternator barely fucking fits on here as it is. Like, I had to fight to get it off. Yeah, it's ready to be lifted. Cool.
Unfortunately, all that's for naught. Got the engine in and completely buttoned up, but it's leaking oil onto the floor pretty bad. I jacked up the engine, undid the motor mounts, felt up behind. The oil's coming from above the oil pan seam. It's either coming from the upper oil pan seam or there's further damages that I didn't know about. Let's pull the engine back out and investigate. Oh fuck, it turns out there is more damage. This is the upper oil pan I pulled off the engine block. See that right there? That was a big fucking crack in the upper oil pan. That's where all the oil was leaking out from. I guess when the engine hydrolocked and the rods shot down, it hit that cross member with the big ding in it with so much force that it put a giant crack in the aluminum casting. I gotta order a new one and then put it all back together and put it back in the engine again. Round 2. Brutal.
So this part's no good. We got to strip it down. I got a new one. It was like $700. Got a new one, and now we got to put all the pieces on the new one. Yeah. There's our water pump. And this is the brand new piece. So the one we just took apart, this is the brand new version of it. This thing was fucking $700. Also, this time before I put the engine in the car, we're gonna fill it with oil. Once I get it all back together, we'll fill it with oil and sit for a couple minutes, make sure it doesn't leak, and hopefully it doesn't. All right, that is reassembled. And we can start prepping the engine. Put it back on the engine. The car people just really like sex. Have you ever been to a mechanic shop and the first thing you notice on the wall is the calendar with the naked chicks on it? That's pretty universal. I'm certified not a mechanic because I don't have one of those calendars, though mine would probably be werewolves. So what I need to do now is apply sealant. That was fucking perfect. Holy shit. All right, let's fucking scrape some gasket material. Looking decent. Let's fucking squeeze some goo. I did have a firm grip on the caulk. There's one thing I know how to do, it's grip a caulk. Been doing it for a lot of years. And this goes this way. Just like that. So this is a motor mount. This bolt is the only thing that bolts the engine to the car itself. There are 8 bell housing bolts that go on the back of the engine here in the bell housing that bolt it to the transmission, but these 2 bolts are the only things that hold an engine to a car. It's kind of crazy, actually. This needs to line up just like that. That went well. Like that. Exactly like that. Nice. Yeah, spark plugs in a Subaru. You don't technically have to jack the engine up. You just need a fucking short extension. But spark plugs are a big job. Goes to the water crossover right there. Once I put dipstick in, technically we can fill this thing with oil. See if it's gonna leak or not. I'd love it if it didn't leak. That would be fucking phenomenal. Is it just me or the alternator? Does the alternator on this engine just not like to go in nicely? Like, we gotta wiggle this thing for fucking 10 minutes. There. All right. That engine is ready to go back in the car once we fill it with oil. So last time, it would have already been pissing out with the big ass crack. The big ass crack. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Hello, engine hoist. Fuck, it takes so long to jack. Oil pan's on, engine's back together. We're just about to lift it to put the clutch and the pressure plate and the flywheel on, and then it goes back in the car. Here we go. This goes on like that. All right, now I just got to hook everything up again. All right, that's the alternator. I will do computer starter. This goes in this way. You guys see? This is the fucking computer, and these are the clips for the computer. They're kind of little unwieldy. There we go. 1, and then 2, and then 3. Radiator. Check this out. The previous owner put these dumb motherfucking aftermarket radiator mounts in, and they are the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, they don't even fit. Like, I have to use a bolt as a fucking washer. Like, sure, they look cool, but like, I have to use the dumbest fucking washer spacer setup to like put it together. Fuck, does that slide on nice with some WD? Okay, you can kind of see. Okay, so this is the lower rad hose. What I should have done is sprayed it with WD, but I'm an idiot. So we're just gonna fight it. Just gonna fucking fight it. Okay, it's on. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this thing back in its place. One of the tabs is busted and the screw is busted. I'm pretty sure the auto shop that the guy that I bought this car off of took it to before I got it. They just fucking ripped this thing off. I don't even think they tried. Don't even think they tried. Now we just gotta fucking clamp this pipe together. Okay, our exhaust is connected. We'll have to put more in after the water pump cycles and the thermostat opens, but no leaks. Let me take a look. So far, so good. Just that drip from the oil pan cap, which I have a crush washer for, and then what I spilled. We're looking good. Okay, let's see how this goes. Battery's going in. Who fucking makes these so fucking heavy? Okay. Okay. Positive and negative. I'm fucking nervous, man. This always makes me so fucking nervous. This stage. All right, throttle all the way to the floor, button. Got nothing. Oh, I gotta push the clutch in. I gotta push the clutch in. I'll do one more. Turn it off. Put the fuse in and we're gonna fucking send her. Yeah, this is the most nerve-wracking part, that's for sure. Okay, fuse is back in. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's trying. I think the spark plug wires are hooked up to the wrong spark plugs. Straight up. I see the zap strap on the wrong side. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna just take a peek. Those ones look correct. There is no mixing that side up. Okay. All right, moment of truth. Let's fucking crank it, boys. Oh, it sounds like it's trying. Yes! Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go, dude! Woo! That sounds healthy as fuck, boys! Let's fucking go! Get inside, check everything. I got no lights other than an ABS. I got boost at -10 PSI. Oh, it sounds good. Fuck yes, dude. That's so sick. Yeah, so underneath the car, like because the turbo is right there and the exhaust manifold's right there, you can't see me waving my hands around. Everything is like right on the bottom of the car. So like there is actually armor plating that sits underneath the turbo to protect it from rocks and shit. And then there's a big plastic shroud for like prettying it up. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that goes under the car, and then I gotta like put the hood on, and I gotta pop every tire off and raise up the suspension. The coilovers are fucking so low, and I don't desire to go over speed bumps diagonally in my life, so I will be raising it up. All right, let's put some stuff together.
Find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really
Engine work's done.
All right, so just like you saw from the stream feed, the car is running. The engine's in, everything's looking good. Temperatures look good. There's no check engine lights. Oil level's good. Fluid level's good. Man, that was a fuck ton of work. Now, let's put in a stereo. Fuck yeah. All right, got the subs in and all wired up. It's almost like Subaru knew people were gonna do this with their cars. There's a perfect hole in the firewall right beside the steering column that with the rubber grommet that fits a 4-gauge wire perfectly. Got all the wires run under the door panels. It's good to go. I'd love to show you guys how it sounds, but with YouTube's DMCA the way it is, it's not a good idea. So you're gonna have to trust me. These are two 12-inch Pioneer Premier dual voice coil 12-inch subs at 3,000 watts max. I have them running at about 2,600 RMS. They fucking pound. They've been in every vehicle I've ever owned. The deck itself is a Kenwood aftermarket that came in the car. I don't know much about it. The previous owner or the previous owner's owner was not super versed in car audio and kind of did a shoddy job wiring it. I don't know exactly what happened in there, but only the volume up on the steering wheel works. Volume down, song select, nothing else works, just volume up. I guess that's all you need, really. So at this point, the car is pretty much ready to go. Got the engine in, got the stereo in, the two most important things. I'm going to test drive it around for the next couple months. Make sure to do the oil change at 100 kilometers to get all the gunkies out of the engine. And then, yeah, fuck, I guess we're done. That concludes the project. We're done. We're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Working on engines, honestly, is cathartic for me. I enjoy the process. But if you want to see stuff like this in the future, leave a comment down below. Just say, I want to see stuff like this in the future, and maybe we'll do it again sometime. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. That kind of wraps up this project. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And check me out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Skuru, where most of the time we're playing games, but sometimes we're tearing engines down, I guess. That's the thing now. Thank you guys for watching. That's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye now.
Start with the fucking weirdo lock nut. Well, that didn't work. And it's just spinning, dude. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, it is a lock nut. Like, it's designed to not fucking come off. Spare tire. It does not look like we have the socket, though. Oh, no, dude. I just got a text. I just got a text from the dude I bought the car off of. He sent me a picture. He's been watching. He sent me a picture of the fucking lug nut lock. Oh my god. You have the nut. Okay, so I bought the car off of Jerry Landon chat. Fuck, man. Hey, you're not coming this way anytime soon, are you? I need to get those tires off today. You work today? I'll buy you dinner if you bring me that nut. Dinner and nut. I got the text right here. Hold on. Right there. I got the nut. Well, that would have been nice to have. I didn't even think to look.